The story of little Chloe and her dog Titan is a lesson about kindness in everyday life. We help and protect others, not because we expect something in return, but simply because it's the right thing to do, an action that comes from the heart. Let us know where you're watching from. Now relax and enjoy this amazing story. Laura hadn't planned on being a single mother at 36. The divorce from Andrew had been finalized just 7 months ago, leaving her to raise Chloe alone in a house that suddenly felt too big and too quiet. Chloe had grown withdrawn, often asking when Daddy would visit. Night terrors became routine, and the bright, chatty child Laura had known seemed to fade a little more each day. It was Chloe's therapist who had suggested a pet, a companion to ease the loneliness and provide the unconditional love Chloe so desperately needed. The local shelter wasn't Laura's first choice, but their modest budget didn't allow for a purebred puppy, with papers and a pristine lineage. The moment she saw Titan, though, something shifted. The German Shepherd sat in the back of his kennel, with intelligent eyes that seemed to understand more than they should. He had been rescued from an abusive situation, the shelter worker explained. His previous owner used harsh training methods. The morning had started like any other in the Adams household. Laura woke at 6, grateful that Titan had already let himself out through the dog door to do his business in the fenced backyard. She prepared Chloe's lunch, peanut butter sandwich with the crust cut off, apple slices, and a chocolate chip cookie, before gently waking her daughter. By 7:45, Chloe was dressed in her favorite blue overalls and yellow t-shirt, her blonde hair neatly braided, ready for Laura to drop her at kindergarten, before heading to the elementary school, where Laura taught 4th grade. But then came the call. As Laura was pouring her travel mug of coffee, her phone rang with the school principal's number. "Laura, I hate to do this to you, but can you come in early? The superintendent is making a surprise visit, and I need your help with the presentation for the literacy program." "I'll figure something out, Susan. Give me 45 minutes. School wasn't for another hour. The neighbor who sometimes watched Chloe was out of town. Andrew lived 3 hours away, and her mother was visiting her sister in Florida. "Sweetie, there's an emergency at Mommy's school. How would you feel about staying home with Titan this morning? We can have a special movie day this afternoon to make up for it." Chloe's face lit up at the prospect of missing school and having Titan all to herself. Laura hesitated, remembering Andrew's warning and the neighbor's concerns, though the community meeting that had been scheduled for next week specifically to discuss dangerous animals in residential areas, a thinly veiled reference to Titan. But in the 3 months since they'd adopted him, Titan had been nothing but gentle and protective. The yard was securely fenced, and she would only be gone for 2 hours, 3 at most. "We'll play in the backyard, Mommy. I'll show Titan my new chalk drawings," Chloe said, already pulling on her rain boots. Although the April morning was clear and sunny, Laura helped Chloe gather her sidewalk chalk, bubbles, and a few toys, then led her and Titan into the backyard. She double-checked the gate latch, made sure Chloe's water bottle was full, and reminded her of the rules. "Stay in the yard. Don't open the gate for anyone. Don't climb the tree. Titan will watch over you until I get back," Laura said, ruffling the dog's thick fur. Titan seemed to understand, sitting attentively beside Chloe, his eyes focused on Laura, as if receiving instructions. The school meeting went longer than expected. The superintendent had questions about everything, from curriculum to building maintenance. By the time Laura could politely excuse herself, it was almost noon. She had been gone nearly 4 hours. She called home twice, but received no answer. Her anxiety mounted with each passing minute of the drive home. Laura barely put the car in park before jumping out, leaving the driver's door open as she raced toward the house. That's when she heard Chloe's high-pitched scream from the backyard. The sound cut through her like a physical pain, driving her forward with adrenaline-fueled speed. Through the kitchen she flew, knocking over a chair in her desperation, yanking open the back door with such force that the handle left an indentation in the adjacent wall. The scene that greeted her would be forever seared into her memory. Titan, his teeth firmly gripping Chloe's overalls, was dragging her backward across the lawn. Chloe's face showed confusion and fear, her small hands trying to push away the powerful dog. Laura's mind went blank with terror. "Titan! No!" Laura screamed, sprinting across the lawn. The dog didn't release Chloe, instead pulling her more urgently. That's when Laura noticed something odd. Titan wasn't trying to bite Chloe. He was very precisely holding only the fabric of her clothing, careful not to catch skin. And he wasn't pulling her randomly. He was moving her in a specific direction, away from where they had been playing near the old oak tree. Laura's confusion lasted only a moment before she saw it. Coiled in the grass where Chloe had been playing just seconds earlier was a large snake, its distinctive patterned scales visible even from several feet away. The snake was poised to strike, its attention now divided between the humans and the dog, disturbing its sunning spot. A cold realization washed over Laura. Titan wasn't attacking Chloe. He was saving her. Laura screamed as she saw the snake's fangs connect with Titan's foreleg. The dog yelped in pain, but held his ground, snapping at the snake until it retreated to the base of the oak tree and disappeared into a previously unnoticed hole among the roots. Laura knelt beside Titan, her mind racing. The German shepherd's breathing had become shallow and irregular, his powerful body trembling uncontrollably. Chloe stood frozen nearby, tears streaming down her face, her small voice repeating, "Is Titan going to die, Mommy?" "Chloe, sweetheart, we need to get Titan to the animal doctor right away. He's very sick from the snake bite." Chloe nodded solemnly, her eyes never leaving the dog who had just saved her life. Laura revved the engine in the parking lot of the veterinary hospital and rushed inside, her words spilling out in a panic. "My dog's been bitten by a snake. Please help him. He's dying." Chloe ran after her mother and the dog. A team of veterinary technicians rushed out with a stretcher, transferring Titan from her car and hurrying him through the double doors marked "Authorized Personnel Only." A vet tech stayed behind to get information while the others began treatment. "What kind of snake? How long ago was the bite? Any medications or health conditions we should know about?" Laura replied mechanically, her eyes glued to the door where Titan had disappeared. In the waiting room, Laura collapsed into a chair. The shock that had carried her through the last half hour suddenly faded, leaving her shaking and exhausted. Chloe sat silently beside her. A little while later, a vet in uniform appeared through the double doors, his face serious. "Mrs. Adams, we've stabilized Titan for now and administered antivenom, but I won't sugarcoat this. His condition is critical. The next 24 hours will be touch and go. You got him here quickly, which helps, but snake venom is particularly dangerous for canines, attacking the nervous system and causing organ damage. You should prepare yourself and your family for the possibility that he might not pull through." "Can we see him?" "He's under sedation, but familiar voices and smells could help. You both can go home now. We'll call you if there's any update. You can come back tomorrow morning." By early afternoon, news of the incident had spread through Oaked like wildfire. When Laura pulled into her driveway with Chloe dozing in the back seat, exhausted from the morning's trauma, she was startled to find a small group of residents gathered on the sidewalk in front of her house. "Is it true, Mrs. Thompson?" The elderly busybody who had been one of Titan's most vocal critics. "That big dog of yours saved little Chloe from a copperhead. I heard it was a rattlesnake. My cousin said it was a water moccasin." "It was a snake," Laura confirmed, keeping her voice low, as she gently lifted the sleeping Chloe from her car seat. "Titan protected Chloe from it and was bitten in the process. He's at the veterinary hospital in critical condition." Her voice broke on the last words, the reality of potentially losing Titan hitting her anew. Mrs. Thompson stepped forward, her earlier suspicions seemingly replaced with concern. "I might have been wrong about your dog. Protective instinct is one thing, but what he did today, well, that's something else." Inside, Laura settled Chloe on the couch and checked her phone. The latest read: "Called me immediately. Heard Chloe's in hospital after dog attack." Laura sighed and dialed his number, bracing herself for the conversation. Andrew answered on the first ring. "What the hell happened, Laura? I get a call from Bill saying there was some kind of incident with that dog, and Chloe's in the hospital." "Chloe is fine, Andrew. She's not in the hospital. Titan is. There was a venomous snake in our backyard. Titan pulled Chloe away from it and got bitten protecting her. If he hadn't been there." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. When Andrew spoke again, his tone had shifted. "Chloe's really okay? She's shaken up, but physically fine. Not a scratch on her. Titan was very careful when he grabbed her clothes to pull her away." Laura glanced at her daughter, still sleeping peacefully despite the trauma of the morning. "I'm coming over. I'll be there in 3 hours." Laura knew better than to argue. Despite their differences, since the divorce, Andrew was a devoted father who would naturally want to see for himself that Chloe was safe. By the time Andrew's car pulled into the driveway at 7 that evening, Laura was emotionally and physically drained. She opened the door before he could knock, gesturing for him to keep his voice down, as Chloe had finally fallen back asleep after a difficult afternoon of questions and worry. Laura recounted the morning's events as precisely as she could: how she needed to leave for the school meeting, Titan's actions when the snake appeared, the rush to the veterinary hospital, and the community's surprising response. Sarah's phone rang. Dr. Shah's number flashed on the screen, and she answered immediately, her heart in her throat. "Mrs. Adams, we've seen some changes in Titan's condition. The antivenom is working, but he's developed a reaction to the treatment itself. We need to adjust our approach. I wanted to let you know that the next 24 hours will be critical." Laura clutched the phone tightly. "What are his chances?" There was a brief hesitation on the other end. "It's too soon to say with certainty, but Titan is young and was in excellent health before this incident. That works in his favor." As dawn began to break, Chloe woke up, asking her parents to take her to the hospital to visit Titan. Dr. Shah approached with an update. "The new treatment protocol is working better than we anticipated. His kidney function is improving, and his cardiac rhythm has stabilized. If this continues, well, let's just say I'm significantly more optimistic than I was 6 hours ago." The drive home became a slow procession, as neighbors waved from their yards. Titan sat regally in the back seat beside Chloe, occasionally looking out the window with alert interest, as if assessing his territory after his absence. When they pulled into their driveway, Laura was startled to see Andrew's car already parked there. He approached as Laura and Chloe helped Titan from the car. Titan, a dog who was once abused, is a clear example of the ability to heal after suffering. Titan not only healed Chloe, but also helped Laura and Andrew become good friends after their divorce. It's Titan's loyalty and unconditional love that made them realize that sometimes love and kindness can mend the cracks in family relationships. If you were Laura, would you be ready to adopt Titan and trust this new friend? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, give it a like and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to hear more inspiring stories. Goodbye, and see you soon.